The bottom line is that in too many places, black boys and black men, Latino boys and Latino men, experience being treated differently under the law. A growing body of research shows that people of color are more likely to be stopped, frisked, questioned, charged, detained.
The fact is, we have a lot of conversation about police encounters, but hardly any conversation about the role of prosecutors and criminal court judges in a pretrial setting. It's about time we have that conversation.
Issues of bail have been largely on the sidelines. Bail reform is a civil rights issue. Bail reform is a human rights issue. Bail reform is a national crisis that's hidden in plain sight.
The whole purpose of bail was to give an individual who's been arrested and accused, but who is presumed innocent, a way to get out of jail. And so the idea originally was, if we make you pay some money, you'll have an incentive to come back to court, and you won't want to re-offend or get into any trouble because you're going to lose that money. Instead of it being that, it has morphed into this industry where we have commercial bail bondsmen, and the amount of money that individuals are required to pay in order to get out of jail has just become extremely high.
We think that bail is the great interrupter when it comes to resolving criminal matters, and it has a very negative impact on all individuals, but particularly people of color.
When you combine together the higher bail amounts and the greater likelihood that African American and Latino defendants are more likely to have to pay bail to be released, they're at a much greater disadvantage compared to whites.
Okay, if everybody would kindly stand up and raise your right hand, and so I can swear everybody in.
The problem is that pretrial detention really sets the ball rolling. It's sort of like a scarlet letter. Being poor, being African American, being Latino, that stigma carries over so that people who have been detained pretrial are presumed to be more guilty or riskier people because they were in jail. It rubs off at sentencing.
There are lots of alternatives to jurisdictions and courts and jails to holding a human being in a cage because you can't make a payment.
I wanted to sell some narcotics to support my habit. I was out there no more than 15 minutes before I got busted. And I found myself sitting down there in Central Cell Block saying, God, please help me. I was thoroughly convinced that this was it. Pretrial gave me a chance.
The Pretrial Services Agency does a risk assessment. We interview the defendant in cell block. We look at his criminal history or her criminal history. We look at whether there's a pending case. We look at whether they're on probation or parole, whether there are any warrants outstanding. We look at their drug and mental health history. We administer a drug test. And we kind of put together a summary report that goes to the court with our recommendation. We really look at the people that are low risk. We recommend that they be released with no conditions. And we look at the people that are of more medium or higher risk and then recommend commensurate release conditions to the court that we think will assist them in coming back to court and in keeping from being rearrested.
It's a great feeling. You know, it gets me teary-eyed to actually talk about this at times, though, because it's just a great feeling knowing that I'm on my way. I was given a second chance.
The reason why we have to focus on pretrial detention is because there's a clear benefit to society by focusing on this issue, by having people being able to continue their lives, continue their jobs, continue being family members, continue being parents. I mean, we're supposed to be operating on a constitution that says, you are innocent until proven guilty. We're losing people who, at the end of the day, may come out and may even come out not guilty. But we're losing too many people in a temporary holding pattern, which makes no sense. Society has to do a lot better than that.